You have access to the entirety of human knowledge right now, or at least virtually anyway. You have access to all of human knowledge as it's seen on the internet. You have access to pretty much all the events that have been a part of human history. I mean, you should always consider the source, but virtually all the information of everything that's happened is available to you at your fingertips. You can go ahead and bring this little computer called a phone with you in your pocket, and anytime you have a question about the entire history of the world, you can kind of ask that. You can just generally ask it to Google, or you can look up research documents and history books online, and it's all available to you. You just need to ask the question. So that's what this video is kind of covering. Phone use, using it as a tool, using it for entertainment, using it for knowledge and research. It is very interesting how phones have evolved over the years. Us as a species evolving, we've used different things for different tools and changed our entire way our society evolves because of those inventions and these tools. And so the rise of phones in the modern era give you entire access to new and better ideas. You no longer have to trudge through life alone or without comparing and sharing ideas with everyone around the world. You have the entire ability to access all of that knowledge and access other people to talk to them about it. It's no longer just a solo game anymore because of your phone. You're interconnected with literally everyone if you wanted it to be. Obviously, not everyone's going to want to talk to you, but you can certainly try and talk to them all around the world at any given time of the day. So to that point, that's just saying the general value of how great a phone can be. With anything, though, there are good things and bad things about phone use, and a lot of good points and bad points when it comes to being on your phone all the time or being on it for no time at all. With anything, of course, anything across the board in life, moderation is key. I think there's a great amount of value you can get from being on your phone for certain times of the day for different types of reasons, but you shouldn't be on your phone all the time. That's kind of like a parenting statement, like a patronizing statement. Hey, get off your phone. You're on your phone too much. But there's a lot of tools and value on your phone. Why wouldn't you want to be on your phone? You have an entire supercomputer in your pocket. This computer right here used to be the size of this room, and they've managed to get it down to where you can do entire computations, and you can use AI now apparently, and all different types of ways of finding out knowledge and inventing new knowledge and inventing new ideas. You can just have this right now. You have access to that, and that's kind of insane, the way things have evolved because of it. It kind of turned into an extension of you as a person. There's no longer just you and your brain. You have access to other people's brains. You have access to this tool that can shortcut problems that you don't need to work through anymore. If you have a question about the world, you don't have to work through all the little details of that problem because someone's already tackled that a little bit for you, and they probably posted it online, and they probably posted some hints. It's not entirely up to them to tell you how to live your life, of course. They're going to have a lot of flaws as well. They're going to have their own opinions thrown in the mix, and you're going to have to research and vet those sources and make sure you're not taking everything entirely literally without considering things for yourself. You do need to think for yourself. Part of having a phone is having access to other people's thoughts, which can give you insight on how to think about life in different ways as well. So it is an extension of you. It's kind of like we're a symbiotic relationship between technology and you as a person, as a biological creature. You can do literally anything that you can think of, probably you can do on your phone if you like to, because it's a supercomputer at this point. There is, of course, a little bit of a stigma to using your phone all of the time, or at least there used to be a stigma. I don't know how it's going to change in the future, because some people have totally written it off. It's no longer a stigma. Just use your phone whenever you want. No one's going to look at you twice if you're using your phone. There used to be all these types of stigmas from older folks who never had phones when they were young, and they see people walking around staring at their screen, and they're like, everybody's wrapped up in their phones and they're not living life properly. Well, they're living life in a different way, and the way we live life is changing and evolving, and it's really interesting to see the sides when it comes to the older generation versus the younger generation of how you see a phone and how you see the entertainment and access to knowledge. If an older person wanted to look up the definition of a word, they'd have to walk over to a library or whatever knowledge is kept and look up that word, and then they get the definition. Whereas if I want to see any part of vocabulary for any language, I can do that right now, literally instantaneously. I don't do it too often, but I feel like my vocabulary got a little bit better because of my ability to look up things on the internet when I had to. It helped me expand my knowledge a little bit. So the stigma as associated with that, I mean, you can be on your phone a lot, but if you are on your phone and you're replacing that time of where you could be enjoying life, like say you're at a beach or you're at a restaurant or you're doing any particular thing, and maybe you're at a party and all you're doing is being on your phone, you're kind of replacing real life with phone time. And there's a lot of things you could talk about when it comes to that. Maybe you are on your phone too much. With anything, like I said, moderation is key. But the stigma, I think, is changing. I think the stigma is going to be pretty much gone on in the future when it comes to phone use. Like, yeah, you're on your phone. You must be doing something interesting or using some sort of avenue of entertainment to enjoy your life more, I suppose. But there is a slippery slope, I suppose, being that you do get a kind of little dose of dopamine when you find something interesting on the internet, or you find a video that you like, or just a really hilarious or clever video that someone made, because the entertainment possibilities of them trying to get your attention is so limitless. You literally could not get through all the videos on the internet if you tried. By the end of your life as a 100-year-old person, you could not get through all the content. There is so much you could look at, and it's a slippery slope. If you open up a video and you see like one video that kind of made you smile, you're like, well, there's more of those out there. Let me look at more. I gotta find more videos. This is the best. I love dopamine. This is fantastic. I get instant satisfaction. And it's kind of like instant feedback. Like, you do one swipe and you could see the most interesting video you've seen in the last year. And it's so possible that it's hard to resist. And so it is a slippery slope to not just fall in and just look at your phone and be a part of your phone for your entire life. You do have to be careful about that. Becoming addicted is a real thing, and you need to notice that. Those dopamine spikes that you get, they're gonna try and keep you pulled in. Growing up as an adolescent, myself, I didn't have access to phones and tablets, until they started to become a thing in kind of like middle school. They used to be just mainly used for texting. We'd be texting with the old keyboard that was below the screen, an entirely different physical keyboard that you would use, and I learned how to reach under the table and just text without having the teacher notice me so that I could text people. It evolved from that to now I have my smartphone and I could look things up or listen to anything I want to, like a video or a podcast anytime I want to. And now it's like, well, it's a supercomputer and I have it with me. It's a part of my life. It's a part of my social life. It's a part of my entertainment life. And that's changed over the years. So when you're an adolescent, if you were born in 2010, you probably had access to a phone or an iPad at like age 5 or 6, maybe even earlier, to where like a phone or a tablet is going to be a part of your life all the time. And it's going to be really hard to detach from that if you're already consumed by that at a young age. I do feel like brain rot is a thing. Like, you could just be mindlessly staring at your phone for hours on end and the time just flies by. And I say brain rot because you're kind of just pulling on that thread of chemicals over and over and over and over and over again. And you never actually are doing anything. You might get a little bit of a smile or a little bit of a release of some dopamine, and that might actually be a good thing for you for your, well-being and happiness. But if you don't do other things, you're never going to get anything done. Your productivity is going to absolutely plummet. You need to actually do things. Of course, you have to set the phone down and walk away and do other things. And the life skills that you can get from doing other things other than learning or entertaining yourself on a phone, there are so many other life skills to learn outside of a phone. It's not even funny. Like, there's so many things that about life that I never would have learned if I just stuck my head in a phone throughout the first 10 to 15, 20 years of my life. I ask myself, what am I gaining? I try to avoid brain rot when I'm scrolling through TikTok, I'm scrolling through Facebook, I'm scrolling through Twitter, now X or whatever it's called. You can just scroll through these things a lot and you never notice. You're just kind of like, you're breathing and scrolling. You're breathing and scrolling. And are you gaining much? Hard to say. What are you gaining? And I ask myself that when I'm watching all these videos, like, what am I gaining out of this? And then I might just put the phone down and walk away and try and breathe and enjoy the moment some other way, because I do like to be gaining something out of my time other than just tugging on that dopamine string forever and always. Entertainment's changed over the decades though. Like, an older person, they would sit on a couch and stare at a screen for 5 hours. But how would they do that? Oh, they're watching TV. They're scrolling through the TV channels trying to find something interesting. And they look at us like, what are you doing staring at a screen for 5 hours? Don't you want to be doing something interesting? Well, how can you say that about us when you sat on your couch and you bought into $50 a month digital cable, and once you got home from work, you just watched TV until it was time for bed? And then you judge us, the younger generation, for using phones like it's something different. I pull up Twitch once in a while, and because an older person doesn't understand what Twitch is, they're like, why are you watching someone play games? Well, why are you watching someone else play sports? It's the same exact concept, and you might hear that a few times. People talk about that all the time. It really is very comparable to the way the older generation used to tug on their own dopamine strings. They get a lot of feedback and a lot of self-satisfaction by finding something interesting to watch on TV, which basically isn't a thing anymore. Now we have streaming services. We cut to the chase. We find something interesting that we want to watch right away. We don't have to scroll through TV channels or wait for an on-demand access to some movie or a movie to play at some particular time of the day. We don't have to wait for that anymore, and that's kind of interesting. there is the sense that you could start to feel guilty that you're spending too much time on your phone and being too attached. And of course, just being deliberate and acknowledging that and shifting is the best thing you could do. It really is very valuable to become purposeful about what you're doing. But phones are a part of our lives now, and it's just a natural thing to use them as a source of entertainment or a resource for knowledge. And that's going to be a part of your life, and that's okay. And there's a time and a place for phones. I do feel like it does have to be there somewhat in this life to have the proper access to knowledge and social knowledge and things like that in the culture that you're going to be a part of. But I suppose the next thing to talk about is kind of detaching from all that and becoming a part of real life. And being a part of nature has a million good benefits. Like we'll go out and sit by the fire, and we might try to resist looking at our phones while there's nothing else to do. We're just using the time and passing time by. And what else can you do but pull up your phone and do something and entertain yourself? But there is a lot of value of detaching from that, breathing in the fresh air, looking around at the trees. Maybe you're curious about how life works and you're learning more about other people around you, so you're not looking at your phone, but you're actually taking in the world around you. And there's a lot to enjoy and appreciate about life. Life is beautiful. The world is beautiful. The sky is beautiful. The trees are beautiful. All these different things about life that you're not going to really pay attention to unless you put down your phone and detach yourself. And so there is definitely a lot of value in that. Recognizing there's a time and a place is very important. I guess the next topic I would talk about this of what I've learned is downtime and being bored is kind of out of date. But being peaceful is not out of date. I definitely want to make sure there's a distinction between not being bored and then being peaceful. You could be in a situation where you have nothing to do, like class is over or your show is over or you're done with work, and there's a gap of time between the next task of what you have to do during your day, and you can fill that with phone time. You're no longer going to be bored. You can pull on some sort of dopamine string somewhere across the internet, whether it be TikTok or YouTube. But there's a lot of value in being peaceful. When you put down the phone, when you're done with a task, you can be peaceful and enjoy the moment as it is and not have to distract yourself, because being peaceful is a way of avoiding boredom too. Really meditating and being in your own energy, that is very valuable as well. It's not like you're bored. It's not like you don't have anything to do. You could do stuff and you recognize that, but now you have the opportunity to be peaceful, to be detached. You don't have to run your stimuli all times of the day. You can detach, breathe, and just be in your own existence and appreciate life for what it is outside of all these things that you have to do and entertainment that you have to have. Phones are infinitely great, but they can infinitely stop you from doing things as well. Like say that you were looking up a wealth of knowledge for 8 hours straight on your phone. You might learn a lot, but if you did that the next day and the next day and the next day and the next day, come on. You're not actually doing anything. Action is what really moves the world forward, and you do need to take action and do stuff with all this knowledge. Maybe you set aside specific amounts of time to learn things or use your phone for entertainment. Set aside a specific time for you to look up stuff on your phone or to use it for entertainment. But it doesn't get anything done. I mean, unless you're building a business on your computer, then that's a little bit different. But there's a lot of great uses for your phone, of course, like communication and entertainment, but you can't spend all your time on it, of course. If you are using it for some sort of entertainment and avoiding boredom, avoiding downtime, it can be good, but also you need to make sure you're finding some peace as well and enjoying real life, stuff outside your phone that is physical and you can touch and exist with. That's a really important part of life too. So yeah, so that's about it. I could definitely talk about this more and make more videos about this particular thing, but that kind of covers my general thoughts and the stuff I've learned about the concept of using phones and using it as a tool, using it as entertainment, using it as a computer and stuff like that. So anyway, these are my opinions, and of course you should always research and try to form your own opinion, your accurately informed opinion, and be logical, be real, be aware, be introspective, and enjoy the moment right now, because that is life. So see ya.